Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Creeper and the Vampire Coast facing off against Sternguard and the Chaos Dwarves here on Usirian's Temple, which is a pretty cool map. Maybe I should incorporate this one a little bit more in tournaments, but yeah, definitely a very, very cool aesthetic. So, looking at the coastline army here, we got some like boulders falling on the camera and stuff. Going to be a front line of deckhand mobs, and it's fine. You don't really have too many choices, and that is going to be a decent little front line there to take a beating. Now, this is my one concern for the Coast players. He went, I think, dual cannon, which is honestly not bad against Chaos Dwarves usually. It's actually rather a counter against them because it's really good against the trains and their artillery, but in this case, not going to be super great, probably because of the nature of the map. Granted, you might be able to get it up on the hill and get some value there. Count Noctilus is a fine choice. Pit of Shades against Infernal Guard and some of the more elite units, as well as even just regular Chaos Dwarf troopers. Bomber mobs, deckhand mobs, the second cannon, which is, this is a good spot for this cannon. It can at least control one objective, and you could probably turn it about face and shoot at objective 1 as well from the, let's see the line of sight here. So we're going to come down from the cliff, very slow motion, very epic. If it's a big enough target, but still a little bit dodgy. And guys, the entire reason we're casting this replay, the dreaded bloated corpse is going to be hiding. I love this, because the hill provides line of sight, right? So the Chaos Dwarf player legit might not see this until it's too late. Looking at the army of Sternguard on the other side, it is going to be a battle line of Hobgoblin Cutthroats. We got a couple of those. And archers are fine. You know, Vampire Coast hates archers. And ones that do fire damage, not the worst thing in the world against like Horn Ghouls and Animated Hulks and even against zombies. Rest of the troops going to be Blazing Beards of Basharik and Hobgoblin Core with a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire with Burning Head. And it is going to be Hobgoblins, Cutthroats there, Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and Chaos Dwarf Warriors. All right, guys, the battle is on. Both players going to be advancing up towards the objectives. Oh shit, is it a double bloated corpse build? The dreaded double bloat meta? I think he just might have called that thing in. I don't know if he did. Maybe he called it in from all the way back here and I just didn't notice it, but the bloat is going to be moving up. And look, if the bloat can connect with, I would say if it can connect with the Chorf Warrior or the Blazing Beards of Basharik, that's going to be actually good value. That might be one of the first games we've ever casted on the channel here where you actually see a positive net value for those things. So I would love to see it, man. So Bloated going to be heading to the outside. Meanwhile, the Blasting Charge boys are going to be setting up shop. Count Noctilus here. Going to be heading over to the in-between point of the objectives, looking to use his halberd to maybe fend off the Fireborn. Fireborn are not bad here. They're a little bit vulnerable to some of the shooting. And the cannon, I mean, it made its way to the high ground. Look, that's determination right there. These zombies, they deserve a bit of a pay raise. Perhaps more of the plunder can go their way. However, line of sight blocking is going to hurt here. Noctilus is going to be dropping, I believe, the Wraithstorm ability on the Sorcerer Prophet. It's usually better against units, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not going to do much. I think I'm pretty sure it's like designed to go after units. Let me check here. Yeah, 5 projectiles, and now the Chaos Dwarf is going to be using their artillery and taking advantage of the map. Now, this is clever play from Sternguard, using the map to his advantage and making sure that he can shoot and his opponents aren't going to be able to shoot back. Cannon could move over here, but it's pushed by zombies. It's not going to be quick. So on the backside, looks like there's going to be a Burning Head, and the Vampire Coast calls out the Lamprey's Revenge, which will be pretty good against these units. And in response, oh, looks like the Bloated Corpse is getting targeted there. But that's a beautiful Pit of Shades. Man, Bread City. So he uses a Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob Summon to lock down these units and kind of trap them. And then gets a big Pit of Shades on them. And that one looks like it was overcasted. So the Blazing Beard's getting it pretty good. And Bloatimus Maximus going to be hiding behind the pillar here, waiting to ambush. And I'm pretty sure there's another Bloat over here somewhere. Yeah, so I really, really don't want to miss those. Down here, we do see Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but they are facing 2 zombies and a cannon, so they'll probably end up losing that fight eventually. Oh, dear God. It's happening. Cue the music, guys. It's getting in. All right, so the Bloat is going to be charging into the Hobgoblin Cutthroats. It really wants to get on the Dwarf Warriors here. We're going to see. And, okay. He was on a mission, and hey, look. We take those wins around here, okay? That's way better than Bloats usually do. Hobgoblin Cutthroats are like a 400 gold unit, so in a way that bloat kind of paid for himself. The other one on the other side is going in for the kill. Now this would actually be good value because this thing is 350 or 375 now, and if it does a direct hit to a Chaos Dwarf Warrior unit or to the Cutthroat Sneaky Git, which is a 500 gold unit, then that's a huge win for the Vampire Coast. He himself also has a little bit of capture weight too. Alright, so he's moving. He does not want to blow up his friendly homies though, and I would like to see the Vampire Coast player grab it and go after the Sneaky Git. But I believe this was a tournament match, so pretty fun to see somebody bringing double bloat here. And let's see what kind of damage it does. Look, it could be worse. That's some decent performance from the Bloated boys. We're going to see if they keep coming. Now, Vampire Coast getting punished here a little bit as their Carronade is being taken to Pound Town. But the Crabos are staboing in the front, providing some nice armor piercing, while the deckhand mobs continue fighting into the Cutthroats and the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. And it looks like some of the guns, the gunnery mobs, which I believe there's only one of them here, is able to get their powder wet, yes, and shoot at the Kadai Fireborn. And it seems they're doing good damage in tandem with Count Noctilus's Halberd, not bad, but really the big thing that's been carrying Vampire Coast and keeping this game very close has been the Pit of Shades. So for Stern Guard does have the archers online. A little bit of blundering here. These two Hobgoblin archers are very stacked on top of one another, so unfortunately for them, they're going to be obstructing one another, so it's not going to be as much DACA, but really good play from Stern Guard, honestly. Ooh, look at that. Vial of Hashit. I love that combo by our Dwarf player. Using Vial of Hashit, which lowers their armor and makes them uber weak to fire, and then all these guys, of course, don't have AP, and they do fire damage, so the synergy there is off the charts. The Burning Head going to be going down to the Handgunners. Very, very nice cast there by Stern Guard, as we do see the advancing Chaos Dwarf Warriors move in. And here we do have the Chaos Dwarf Warriors going after the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs. The bombers, that is. But yeah, all three archers are still in line. Kadai Fireborn going to be pressing in. Burning Head's doing a ton of work. And dear God in heaven, this is a madman. He's got 2 more bloats coming out. These are the Magic the Gathering tournament players here. They are getting ready to go. I've seen it. You know, we've had that discussion many times on stream. Like, which of the communities is grungier between the Warhammer tabletop players at tournaments and Magic? And I played in both. I used to play a lot of standard Magic back in the day. Played some of the older formats as well. And I think some of the most creature-esque people I ever saw were Magic. I mean, Warhammer had a couple, but Warhammer, at least you have to stand up. You have to move around a table. So Infernal Guard Fireglaves here, going to be getting nailed by Pit of Shades, so very, very good usage of the Magic this game. And the Fireglaves will be very good here, honestly. They can shoot the Depth Guard, keep anything big in check, but if the bloats can connect with them, that's going to be a problem. So on the low ground here, it looks like the fighting did rage on for a moment, and we see the Mourngulls coming in and being the decisive factor. Cannon's going to be shooting in the Goblin Laborers, so Vampire Coast is going to be securing the contested objective. So this is really the one that's like the most important, because getting your opponent's home objective on this map is really difficult. It's very heavily entrenched in their spawn area. But nonetheless, the Vampire Coast is going to be winning that. So that's going to be a huge win con for them, because then they can just sit back and defend this one very, very easily and make their opponent overextend to them. Okay. Spec Ops going in. Oh my God, if he gets those Infernal Guard Fireglaves, I don't know if I can be that erect. Let's see. So it is going to be coming in. The Pit of Shades. Okay, Arrow Fire going into the Bloat. I feel like Bloats shouldn't blow up as easily. The Fireglaves are thinking about it. And look, Hobgoblin Archers are a fine target too. That's an uptrade. Okay, here he goes. There he goes, my Bloat. And he's going to get right into the side of the formation, and that unit is going to get karate chopped and probably break. So negative 33, not quite paying for itself, but it does break the archer out of the fight, right? So that's not terrible. Depth Guard Polearms moving in. Going to be a nice sustained fighting tool. Going to be a little bit weak, perhaps, against the Iron Demon back here. The Demon's Tongue is really good against those type of units. And the Death Freak Rocket Launcher can also put some hurt down on them. Cannon and artillery mostly offline. We do see a couple waves of zombies chilling. And on the low ground, 2 zombies just going to be hanging on this point, while the Mourngulls are going to be creeping around the back of the temple, which I like this play. Using them to sneak up on the Death Freak Rocket Launcher would probably be the correct direction that you would want to go in this situation. So I suspect that those bad boys are going to be heading over there. Back up in the epicenter of combat, the Depth Guard are holding quite valiantly, and Count Noctilus is having a duel with the Chaos Dwarf Overseer. And yeah, the Sorcerer Prophet should lose that fight. He's just not as good of a fighter as Noctilus. Noctilus is Vampire with 60 melee defense, but the arrows are going to be forcing him back, and it is lighting him on fire, which if he decides to heal, it will mitigate that. So Mourngul's moving around, and the Demon's Tongue is on the table. I'm not sure if the Chaos Dwarf player forgot about this thing, or if he's just... I think he had like a morale break IRL because of the bloated corpses. It put a little bit of pressure on him there, but... Cannon isn't even able to shoot. I think it's just line of sight kind of punished there, which is not great. That is going to be a good Burning Head potentially, but it looks like the rotation at the last second by the Scurvy Dog is going to be salvaging that situation. In the meantime, the Death Guard Polearms fighting it out, but being taken down by the massive, massive layers of firepower coming in from the Hobgoblin Archers, which are now going to be turning about face and probably taking pot shots down into the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. Doggos do get in combat. Hobgoblin Archers have 25 melee defense. They're not the worst in melee compared to like Peasant Archers for Bretonia or something like that. And the Mourngulls do get in and ambush the Infernal Guard, but they do awake the Demon's Tongue. So the Demon's Tongue going to be rolling in dirty. The Flamethrower, of course, very good against most lightly armored things. Hobgoblin Wolf Riders also charging into the Mourngulls, which are negative 19 leadership right now. And will the Demon's Tongue be enough for the Chaos Dwarfs to win the high ground? Currently looking value trading pretty even, 7.2 against 8. Here, you probably just want to stay, honestly. I don't think the flank is really worth it. You'd probably want to keep those guys down in Objective 3 if you could, because you have your win condition locked in. And by doing this, the Chaos Dwarf player is going to be able to save up like 1,000 gold, summon 2 Wolf Riders, and steal that from you instantly, and then threaten your cannon as well. So I think it's a little bit dangerous, but we'll see if they end up getting punished for it. Halberd's still holding, and the Demon's Tongue is going to be targeted. The Carronade is still just defending the low ground objective. Crabs will be good. Lamprey's Revenge are back from the grave. Polearms are doing some okay damage against the Demon's Tongue. You can see it's lost about 800 HP, and Count Noctilus himself is a very good anti-large fighter, so he is able to lay a bit of a whack in there on the Demon's Tongue, down to 695 HP, getting a beautiful flamethrower shot, it looks like, into the back of the zombies. Critical binding, and yeah, the entire zombie core here having a really bad time. Infernal Guard Fireglaves also putting some good firepower down. Gotta love it. I mean, Depth Guard and Infernal Guard Fireglaves are like two of the coolest units in the game, so very, very cool to see these bad boys facing off against one another. Depth Guard are making the charge, though, and there's a little bit of an incline here, which is mitigating the firepower. You can see these guys are slightly obstructed because if you really look down, there's a bit of a hill there. So a lot of these maps, you really got to like look at the nitty-gritty. And yeah, they're being run over by a hard counter. The Demon's Tongue is designed to kill this type of a unit. So Depth Guard do get in combat with the Infernal Guard Fire Chads, but the Pain Train is here. Thomas the Pain Engine going to be unleashing its full fury against the Depth Guard. And I wonder if the Coast player is going to be so bold to call out more... Oh my god, he is. I was about to say more bloated corpses, but the man is here to stay. And on the low ground, this is your win con, I think. I think you stay down here, you secure this, you just Helm's Deep, hold Objective 1 for as long as you possibly can, and then you hold Objective 3 to win the game at the end. When you just need one objective, right? I think that's really how this should be done. But Depth Guard getting absolutely just punished over here, getting 180 value before being killed by the Demon's Tongue. Also shot by archers. We have the artillery coming in, which is going to be great against the crabs, and the Kadai Fireborn are going to be coming in to push the objective. That artillery piece has been shooting the entire game, about 1,200 value so far. Going to be going into Ye Old Lamprey's Revenge as a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. Going to be waddling his little legs over there and getting in. Count Noctilus with the old attack. There he goes, the overhead Space Jam Slam. We do see Noctilus at 3,200 and only 1,400 on the Chaos Dwarf Lord, so in a little bit of danger. Polearm's coming into support, and it looks like the Vampire Coast players, he was trying to flank with that cannon. I don't know, what he was really looking to get around there. It would be admittedly very funny if he got the cannon right here and was able to snipe the Deathstreaker, but there's no way the Chaos Dwarf player wouldn't utilize his spawn point and take that cannon down, right? So will the Coast endure? Morngul's coming in. The Bloat, look, if the Bloat gets on those Blazing Beards of Basharik, this is just waves, Bloated Corpse attrition tactics, and yeah, just send it in. Oh no! They really need to change Bloated Corpses so they actually do damage against SEs. That would be cool if they like blew up and did like a couple thousand damage against an SE. That would make them a little bit more viable, where you need to deal with them at range or like put a chaff unit into them, right? Morngul's are going to be okay against the train. They at least have mass and good AP value. You can immediately see some of the HP being drained off the Demon's Tongue. Noctilus going to be chasing as Lamprey's Revenge. They're going to be dying a second time and only accruing 700 or 800 value between two lives. Certainly not the greatest situation of the world for them. And here comes the Hobgoblins. As expected, this back objective is now going to be compromised, but we'll see if it matters. And the units that were sent to flank are just going to be overextended and killed by some sneaky gits, right? So these sneaky gits are pretty good against infantry. High melee attack in the 30s, bonus versus infantry is quite good, and this is exactly what they want to be fighting. Because their melee defenses are weak point, but zombies have 14 melee attacks, so it doesn't really matter too much, right? Cannon taken down by the Wolf Riders could get some Houndos to try and deal with it, but with only 1,100 left. The Bloated Corpse tax is coming into effect. This is certainly a situation where the Dwarfs are going to need a triple cap, and Count Noctilus might be able to make a last stand here, especially if the Demon's Tongue does get taken down. Demon's Tongue going to be sitting at 42 speed right now, a little bit hindered by the Morngul, so I believe these guys have like a frostbite mechanic, right? Yep. And he is getting a lot of anti-large attacks, and the Demon Tongue a little bit trapped up. It's gotten about 1,300 value. Kadai Fireborn getting some nice work done in there. And the Depth Guard Polearm is going to be quite excellent here, actually, because they will counter the Kadai Fireborn, or at least trade evenly. Should be able to beat the Blazing Beards of Basharik, and then Noctilus and his Mornguls can maybe hold that point. So right now, we are going to be seeing objective number 3 being taken, so the misplay that we called out earlier is now coming into effect. Will Creeper try and stabilize this? His best bet would be to summon 2 Scurvy Dogs. One Scurvy Dog loses 1-to-1 versus the Hobgoblin if they get the charge off. So you probably need 2. But regardless, looks like Vampire Coast is going to be Helm's Deeping on its home objective, and this is probably the easiest one to Helm's Deep on because it's close. If you go right down the middle of the map, you can see the difference, right? Like this one is the closest to the spawns. Deathstreaker going after Noctilus, doing a little bit of damage, and the Demon's Tongue was able to just barely escape. So talk about good value, and it looks like it might be moving into the Depth Guard. So the Vampiric Chads of the Vampire Coast have their halberds leveled, and probably will finish off the Pain Train. Yes, they do. So the charge is able to take down the train, which does, of course, explode, and some splendid fireworks as we approach 1,300 points. Low ground is about to flip, and we do see some dogs being called out. And look at that. We called it again. Double Scurvy Dog coming in. And you can see how 1 would lose, but 2 is going to be able to finish the job, and that should stabilize that objective. Now, Hobgoblins and Chaos Dwarf Warriors on their way down, but pistol mobs are going to be providing capture weight, and they do have 5 capture weight. So 5 plus 4 is going to be 9 right here. It will go to the Chaos Dwarves, but it looks like it is going to start flipping back. And honestly, in a game this tight, that's incredibly clutch. So, Creeper hanging down here. Blazing Beards of Basharak are slowly getting worn down. The Archers have been very good this game. 900 value on a Hobgoblin Archer is certainly something you don't see. This fight is very like choke point heavy, so it's very good for those Archers. Oh my god, are we seeing another bloat coming from Creeper? Dude, this guy's an absolute Vampire Coast Chad, the new legend. He's moving in with, I think he's used 5 this game, if I'm not mistaken. Well, nonetheless, firepower is on the way. Count Noctilus getting a little bit low. He's at negative leadership. Losing him at this point would be pretty rough. And what's going to be moving towards objective 1? Is it just going to be on the depth guard polearms to hold that? Does he have an invocation on the cards? He is being hunted by the Kadai Fireborn, of course. Do not want to be fighting the depth guard here, but yeah, the firepower, the Infernal Guard, the double archers, a lot of fire damage, going to be mitigating quite a bit. You can see, of course, they're weak to fire right here. Not fun for them. And the Bloated Corpse, where is it going to be going? Another zombie on the way. It is going to be a pistol mob. Count Noctilus going to be sitting at 300 as the depth guard polearms do start to get crumbled down here. And the Bloaty Boy, I mean, there's a chance that, look, oh my god, if the bloat ends up being the variable that wins the game for Coast, that's going to be so funny. Like, look, if the bloat was right here, right now, great song by Fatboy Slim here, could get into the Chaos Dwarf Warriors as well as the Sneaky Gets, and I mean, that would be just a Bread City engagement. That'd be super, super good. So, eyeing the high ground, it's in flux. It looks like these zombies are going down, and these ones are going to arrive in time to slow it down, which is pretty big. And here it comes. Oh, dear God in heaven, give it to us. Oh, this would be such a blue balling. Come on, just let it happen. Just let them catch you. Okay, so that's fine. I'll take the consolation prize. Kaboom! Oh, yeah. That is what we're talking about, baby. Going out with a bang. So that was a fun game. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Looking at this one, guys, let's break it down. 300 value, 400, 800 value, but that one was summoned twice. So one Bloated Corpse actually netted value, which is good. 3,400 and Noctilus in the cannons. Despite having a build which is tough for that map, Creeper did a good job. Good objective play. And the bloats, I mean, look, that's like handicapping yourself by bringing the Bloated Corpses, and he still was able to win against a very good player in Sterngard. So, GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. The Demon's Tongue getting killed in the late game by the slow halberds was definitely, I think, what cost Sterngard the game. If Sterngard had just kind of been more cautious with the Demon's Tongue and avoided the halberds, I think he wins that one. But GG, well played. Super fun match, and we will see you guys on the other side.